hi, beautiful human. This is really cool and exciting and really different. And God, you look good and you're like emitting this beautiful energy. But
Thank you.
Zayn's here. Yay.
Hey.
Yay. Yay. This is weird, right? Like, is releasing music today weird to you or foreign at all? Like, how does it feel?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily weird to release music. I think when I think about my life in general, you know, it's quite a weird situation. You know, I'm a kid from Bradford in England, which doesn't have much, you know, opportunity to really leave that city for many people. So the fact that I'm here at all, even in America, I think is a big thing, you know, never mind doing what I'm doing. At this point though, I've got used to like making music and putting it out and being expressive with that, you know, it's my art. And it's something that gives me peace and like a safe space, like you were saying, you know, there's not too many variables there anymore. I've done it a lot, you know, I've sat with it, I've sat in that space and it's my safe space. I like making music and expressing it.
What does it mean to do it all on your terms?
To do it all on my terms, I think it's a really interesting question. I guess is just you know, to fully be behind the project, you know, yourself, word for word, and really understand what it is that you're representing and what it is that you're about, instead of, you know, necessarily what people expect from you.
By the way, that takes time to figure out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to live a little bit of life, you know? You have to
be
away from all the noise and hustle and bustle of what, you know, this industry is sometimes. And that's why I live where I live, you know? I live like away from it all so I can sit in that space and think about things, you know, and contemplate what life is and actually live like a normal human being without being treated like I'm some sort of alien, you know?
How beautiful is it to live normally?
I love it, you know. It's the only way I know how to live, you know. I feel like I'm a really grounded person at this point in my career. I'm not too interested in, you know, the glitz and glam of things. And I just enjoy, you know, normal, simple things in life, like just being around my loved ones and cooking food and going outside, having a barbecue, taking my dog camping, doing some gardening, you know, simple things where there's no infiltration from other people's like expectations or opinions.
How do you keep that space pure and safe? And do the skills that you use to keep it pure and safe, I'm assuming they're kind of acquired over time, right?
How do I keep which space pure and safe?
All of it.
All of it.
Even Pennsylvania, like what you consider your home and your sanctuary.
I think that place just gives that vibe anyway, naturally, you know. I think it has that like safe feeling to it. And it just feels super grounding. There's so much nature there and just scenic, beautiful things that you can just sit and stare at for 25 minutes, you know, like, and there's no time limit. Time seems to move a bit slower there. And that place just gives me that itself, you know. It's not something I have to necessarily like work on to preserve. It's not mine, you know. It's just something that I've slotted into out there.
And over time is like, it's something bigger than you. It doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, I don't own it, you know. I like the vibe there, so I'm there.
Which is such a random place to like the vibe.
It is, and a lot of people say that to me too. You're saying like, you know, a lot of people say random things to you, random questions. The main question that I get asked is why Pennsylvania, you know? And it was just coincidental. I ended up there and I just fell in love with it. You know, it's not really no rocket science or brain surgery. It's a beautiful place and I love it there. You know what I mean? It's that simple.
Do you manifest? Do you believe in the universe?
Somewhat, yeah. Not necessarily like manifestation, but I believe that like fate is a thing. And I believe that what's meant to be will happen.
That's beautiful. There's also peace in like releasing to that.
Yeah, once you accept that you can't control everything, there's always a little bit more peace, I think.
It's true. You talked about time, and I'm excited to talk about this album, which I would, and you please correct me if I'm wrong, I would describe it as R&B folk.
Yeah, I haven't got a name for the genre. So many people, when they listen to it, that's the first question they ask too. They're like, what genre is this? It's just me, you know, like it's just music that I like listening to, my influences. So I'd say it's it's Zayn genre, you know? Like I just made it up. There's no like specific like strategic plan behind it, like formulaic, you know, musical intellect. It's not done in that sense. It's just expression. And whatever came out, came out. And if you want to call it R&B folk, you can call it that, you know?
It's timeless.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Time is a recurring theme on the album. Has time taken on a new meaning today than maybe it's meant before?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting thing. In life, I feel like certain things happen, you know, that change your perception in a lot of ways. I think the main thing that happened to me obviously was me having my daughter. And I just realized that time goes real fast, like real quick, you know. Before that, I felt like I had so much time, like in my early 20s, I was like, yeah, we can, you know, take time. It's all good. We're chilling. And now there's like this level of urgency, like where I feel like I have to, you know, do things and I have goals that I want to accomplish and I want to show to my daughter before I get too old or before she gets too old and doesn't give a shit about me anymore and she's too cool for me, you know what I mean? So
Do you think of that?
I do think about that a lot. Yeah, she's just growing up so fast and, you know, there's going to be a point where I'm chasing her, you know, for her time. I'm not looking forward to it, you know what I mean? It upsets me a little bit, but it's life. People grow up and they go on their own journeys and do their own thing, you know?
How do you balance that concept of like time? It's going away. You need to do things now while you can. How do you balance that with the idea that good things do take time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this album took 6 or 7 years to get done.
Yeah.
And I could say that like this is obviously the best body of work, the greatest body of work you've ever put out.
Thank you.
But also one of the greatest albums I've listened to this year and maybe in a long time.
That's crazy.
It's fucking great.
Thank you.
It's really good. It's real music. So musicianship is crazy on it.
Yeah, that's what it is with most good things in life. Though there's always a you know, two sides to the sword, double-edged sword. Sorry, and it's just finding that balance. You know what I mean? Where are you going to put the time in? What is it that is important to you to spend that time on? And you know how you're gonna really like construct it in a way that it's effective. You know. You don't have control over all of time, but the time that you do have, where are you going to spend it? You know, what's important to you? And to me, obviously, my art is one of them things. So I spend a lot of time like reading and, you know, being in that space of like developing my intellect so that when it comes to actually my craft, I'm at a certain level where I can actually give something decent, you know? And then the same thing with my daughter now. Like she's like the other main thing in my life that like I want to spend a lot of time on and be with. So I don't really have time for trivial things anymore, you know? Like I'm just not into it. It's just got to be important.
What a special place to be though, right? To cut out the noise.
Yeah, man.
To like cut out so much essentially bullshit, right? Like you reprioritize everything. You realize what matters and what's important, and like this idea that you're living for another person, like that's crazy.
Yeah, I even mentioned that in one of the songs, you know. So like, I'm doing this now for a second name, you know. It's not just for myself.
I was wondering what that second name was.
Yeah, it's Khai.
That's it changes everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay. By the way, the album's, like I said, amazing. There's so much here in terms of, dude, it gives honesty in a way that, like, if you really want to understand you listen to this album. But it also gives 6, 7 years of evolution. So what song starts this album?
The first song that I wrote on the record was Alienated. And it was like towards the end of my relationship, like when me and my ex were like breaking up. So there's like heavy narrative of, you know, the kind of things that I was going through mentally in that situation and what I was thinking, you know, and how I was feeling. And then the record kind of just went from there, like over the like 5-6 years, like I kind of shelled it out from there. Got the kind of vibe that you were saying, you know, the R&B folk kind of sound going on. And then just went in on it more and more with each song. I developed confidence in that like genre, if you want to say, in that pocket, and things just naturally just came together. Like it was just gaining confidence with each track, basically, you know.
So are you reading books, pushing yourself intellectually before you start making this album? while you're making it.
Just coinciding all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah. I think there's always room for improvement, you know?
Because I got to say, like, there is a lot of, like, dude, there's deep meaning to things. One of my favorite deep meanings, just correct me if, by the way, look at my fucking, I don't have a desk, so I have a clipboard instead. Thank you, Jabril, for sharing your clipboard. Birds on a cloud. That is deep because a bird can never rest on a cloud, right? It's this idea of something being so beautiful but never finding peace.
Yeah.
That's deep shit.
Yeah. I appreciate that you understand that. Yeah, I like to be poetic, you know, with my words and my lyrics, and I was just thinking about that in its sentiment. But the funny thing is, the way that music works is I don't feel like you own that either, you know? Like it just comes to you when it feels like it needs to, and something can happen and inspire a thought in your mind, and then you're like, shit, like I just got this great idea, but it's not yours. The world gave it to you, you know?
Interesting. Okay. I love this conversation because artists have, and there is something, right? Like you have to be in the right space and get yourself to a place. A part of this has to be some sort of a muscle, right? Whether it's your brain or the idea of writing songs or just being a musician, right? But like you have to, something has to line up for the universe to like beam a song into you, right? Like that's kind of the case you're making, right? Like that this is given to you by something bigger than yourself, right?
Your life. Yeah, your life experience. Yeah.
Yeah, because that is true. Like every song on this album is, it seems ripped from your reality. Is that fair?
It seems
ripped from your reality?
Taken from my reality. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
People say that, you know, when they have a song that's amazing, right? Like Chris Martin's come on our show a couple times. And when he's here, he says like greatness is like, I go into this state where I don't even know where I'm at. And the universe just beams me this story. But that in theory that like the universe is tapping into something, right?
Well, I think we're all connected in the universe,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the way it works. And we're all connected to this idea of what life is, right? And things that happen in your life experience just give you knowledge on how to move in that situation. Takes time. You have to go through some shit, but you learn something at the end of it. And that's, I think, a great moral for life. You know, you have to go through some shit in order for it to feel good. There's no good without bad, and if you don't have the contrast, how do you know? You know what I'm saying?
So how did you know you were ready to even sit down and write Alienated?
How did I, what, sorry?
How do you know you were even ready to write music again?
How did I know I was ready to write it?
Yeah.
Because I was in that space. Like I was just feeling them emotions, and there were thoughts that were like in my head, you know, quite a lot, and things that I was thinking about. So I felt like I needed to express it and get it off my chest. Like,
how does that start? Does it start as a poem?
Kind of, yeah. I got some like guitar riffs and stuff, like samples, and just played them over a drum, real simple like production, and then I wrote like the melodies to the music for that song. So it depends. Each process is different. Sometimes I could have something like pre-written. For example, I like to write a lot of rap, so I'll take like bits from like certain raps that I've written, and then I'll take that and be like, oh, that'd be a really good verse, you know, like I'll use that one line there as a verse, and then develop a whole idea from just one line in a rap.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Or then sometimes I could have like a little bit of an instrument playing, like I said, like a drum or a bit of a guitar riff or whatever, just something real simple that has a lot of space for me to fuck about with. And then I can slot it in that way too. So either way.
Sick. Your voice is an instrument, and you're using it in a way that like you haven't used it on a record that's just solely you before. Is that like, it's crazy. How are you? Can you just explain to me like being in the booth cutting a record? Or do you know where you're going to do runs or hit high notes, or do you like, is it strategically placed or is it emotionally
definitely
placed?
Strategically placed. Yeah, and there's emotion behind it too. Obviously, the emotions in the delivery, you know, and like the conviction behind like the feeling of, you know, when I'm actually giving a vocal. But yeah, you gotta be strategic about that, you know, like in terms of like where the placement is in songs. Like you don't just want to come in with like a crazy ad lib as soon as the song starts, give people too much, you know. You gotta build to that moment and make it, you know, a climatic moment in the song and stuff. So definitely it's a mix of both, you know, emotion and strategy for sure.
To make the music that you're making today, like when you think back of like everything that you've done in your life and everything you've learned, it does lead you to this place, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's why I'm here. Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
There's been a development, you know, and I hear the development more prominently now since I've made this record. Because even like a couple of days ago, 3-4 days ago, I think I was doing Station Head, and just like playing through all of my music, like with the fans and stuff, over all of my records and listening to them back to back. Like there's some good songs, you know, on my early stuff. It's not consistently great though. Like there's some songs where you can like kind of hear I'm way more present and sure of myself and like there, you know, like behind the song. And there's other songs where it kind of feels like I'm not too sure of even, you know, like what I'm saying or what I'm doing, and there's no real like presence behind it. But this record feels like consistently every song that I'm there and I'm owning the song, and there's this development of like you said, my skills and, you know, ownership of my voice, you know, and the things I can do.
Is any of that because this is very much your story?
I think that's the key thing. I think you
Totally.
need to do that in order to connect with it in that manner, you know, in order for it to really resonate with people in that space that you can't quite explain. It has to come from this place of honesty and truth.
Hello, beautiful human. Every year, millions of gamers experience IGSS, inadequate gaming setup syndrome. Luckily, a cure has been found. You have to go beyond with the Vibrasonic mattress by Beyond Sleep. This thing has 6 built-in subwoofers, USB ports for charging, LED lights so you never stub your toe. It gives you an acoustic massage when you want it, plus adjustable degrees of comfort. This right here is the best way to game ever. Cure your IGSS today at BeyondSleepTech.com. So the whole process starts with Alienated, right? But What I Am is the first song that you release to introduce the world to this era that is unlike anything you've ever put out in the best possible way.
Thank you.
Why is that song first?
That song's first because I felt like it was a good transition song to this space. There is other songs on the record that are way more in that pocket, you know, like way more in the folk pocket, way more in the Chris Stapleton kind of sound, you know, like.
And you worked with his producer?
I did work with his producer.
He's incredible.
He's amazing. He's a genius. Yeah.
I mean, you learn from being in that room, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, we didn't actually get in the room.
So it's just you and your little.
I had the record pretty much made myself without Dave Cobb's involvement. Like the record was fully shelled out and things were in the place that they were in before I went and asked him to be on the record. Then when I signed to Mercury, Tyler asked me if I would be interested on getting Dave Cobb in on, you know, some of the songs that we'd already done. So we texted a couple of times, spoke, got on the phone, called a couple of times and had conversations. And then from then he would just send me things over on email. We would converse over text. I'd take this out. I don't really like that, whatever. And it was super seamless. He just seemed to get everything like straight off the bat. He was like, I'd love to be involved in this. This is something that, you know, I really understand. And I feel like I could elevate it to the place that it can be shown to the world, you know? Because I was happy to just like do it that way. Like that was my original idea, to just release it without any big producer attached to it. It was just going to be like my scrapbook and my production in this room, and I just put it out and here it is, here's my cowboy album, you know? But he was obviously an amazing integral part of the finalized product. And he just brought some things that I didn't even know that were missing, you know, because he's a genius. Like when it comes to musical production, especially that kind of style of music, that pocket, he understands really well.
I would love to listen to the first version of this album, and then this. Like I've already listened to the second version.
Yeah, I could play you them. I've still got them versions if you want to hear them.
Oh, that would be sick.
Off the camera, I'd show you some. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, So what creative goals did you set for yourself before you really started making this thing? Did you set any?
This record.
Yeah.
Yeah, the intention behind it was, I want to really be involved, in every single part of it, integrally. I don't just want to be a passive artist that's, brought in to just sing the parts. Like, I want to build this, like, from the ground up, and I want people to understand that I'm capable of doing that. And I'm not a one-trick pony, I'm not just out here trying to just do something because I've done it good once. Like, I want to push myself and develop and get better with time,
Isn't that like, it's the hardest part about having success, like at a reasonably early age in life, right? Is this idea of one, getting trapped where you're at, and then two, determining what you find a challenge or a creative challenge or something that fulfills you, right? Like,
Definitely, yeah.
what fulfills you today is definitely not what fulfilled you 10, 12 years ago, right? Like,
yeah, well, the truth of it is, like, I would have liked to have thought at probably 17, 18 that I could have wrote this record. In actual fact, I don't think I could have, like, but I would have still thought that in my mind, like, oh yeah, I am capable of writing my own record, so there was always that frustration there. I was in a band, I was in a 5-part band where it was, constant, like, opinions over opinions, and this is what you want to do and this is what we want to do. So it was hard to really show that individuality and show who you were, not due to anybody's fault, just circumstantial. That's the way it was, so there was always that desire in me, to want to write it. But would I have been capable at that age? Probably not. Like we spoke about, I had to live some life and go through some stuff to really understand how to be present behind my music, and what it was that was important to me that I wanted to have in my music, and what it was that I wanted to express to people could only surely come over life experience,
100%. There is something though to being that young, feeling like you could, right? Because I do think that, like, a lot of, and I can apply this to my own life. And dude, I remember interviewing you twice while you're in One Direction during Nickelodeon, like, years ago. Yeah. I looked like some fat little kid, and like they shoved me into some like suit or something on some so orange funny carpet and some like backstage. You're in, dude, really a crazy time. Like, children. Like, I look at that photo and I go, pure children.
Yeah, babies.
Yeah. But there is something to, like, that belief, like, even in that moment of, like, this like, yes, delusion or like blind confidence or like insane deep naivete that, like, just keeps you so deadly focused on what you feel like you should be doing and what you know in your heart and in your mind you need to be doing. Right? Like, there is something to having that North Star that, like, still had to have played a part to getting you here today, right? To the album that we're
definitely,
talking about.
And that, like, if I didn't have that confidence, at that age to believe that I could have done them things, I would have never been in the situation I was in, and I look back and think that was some, like you said, blind confidence, you know what I mean? It's just this naive young kid that just believes he can conquer the world, and
so delusional.
Actually has no fucking skills at all, you know what I mean? But he believes he can do some crazy stuff, and that is, a development of life, I think, for everybody. I think most people go through that. Most people don't want to admit it and accept it, even at any age, you know what I mean? But I'm aware of it, and I think it's something that we should talk about for sure.
Dude, so delusional, but really special.
Yeah.
Really, and
it drives you to crazy places that you wouldn't even think about as a 30-year-old man. You wouldn't even be like, oh yeah, I could go do that. You wouldn't have the audacity, you know what I mean?
You did it.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. All right, back to What I Am. This is, don't take me for what I'm saying, just take me for what I am. It's giving a self-acceptance anthem, even if that self-acceptance could be unhealthy. Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think, the thing about life is not everything's beautiful. The real important things in life, from my experience, are things that are a bit, dark, that, like, you go through that teach you something important about yourself. And that's the way this life works, like, it's not some utopian existence from beginning to end. There's highs and lows, and every part of it is as important as the next.
They connect to one another, right? Like, they really are. And the way you figure out how to move forward is by learning from what was, where you've been. It's interesting. Like, time is a part of that, right? Like,
yeah, because that lyric there, what I'm saying is sometimes I might talk shit, but that doesn't necessarily mean I am shit.
Totally.
You know, I have integrity, and I'll show you my actions that this is who I am and this is my morality. This is what I stand behind, you know?
And you know what? That's kind of how I adopted it in my own life and felt understood by it, right? Like, say I'm with my boyfriend and we get into a fight, and I may say something that is I really don't mean.
It
But,
doesn't
like,
mean you don't love them, right?
100%. My actions
You
are
just lost your shit in that moment. like,
Exactly.
for a second. And that's a really human thing.
Yeah.
Like,
It's actually the most human thing.
that's it. Yeah.
Genuinely. It's literally, I felt so understood by that. I really did.
I'm
This
I'm
time,
glad I could put it into some sort of sentiment that like you understood too. Like that was the whole, you know, intention behind this record. Like I think people gloss things up a lot. The truth of it is when you know, truth is staring you in the face, it's not always pretty. Like, you know.
you run from it.
Yeah.
By the way, and that's
The whole world runs from it.
100%.
I think, yeah.
Isn't that a little bit like birds on a cloud, running from the truth, something that you know is inevitable, and in your gut it's telling you this is fucking not right and
I'm running
toxic.
from this feeling that I know I can't escape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're just like holding on to just one more great day.
Give me one more day of happiness. I need it.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, for sure.
I get it. I really do get it. Do you feel more understood by writing these types of songs, or a record like that, or like at least maybe?
I don't know if I feel understood right now, like at this point,
Yeah.
you know, like when the record's been out and it's lived with people for a bit, and like we have more of these conversations like I'm having with you right now, and you're saying to me like, I understood that, like I got that. It's interesting for me to hear that, you know what I mean? I've lived with this record for 6 years just by myself, so it's very much just been like therapy for myself, you know, just with my own thoughts and my own estimations and my own, you know, expectations. And now I can hear other people's opinions, and the more I get to hear that, the more I get to feel that, you know, that I feel understood. Like people get this too, they felt the same way that I felt, and I managed to put it into words and they understand it, you know?
Totally. Does time scare you?
Does time scare me? Yeah, I think time should scare everybody.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's the most valuable asset.
Yeah.
It's one thing you can't ever get back.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
There's no price on it, is there?
No, there isn't, because it's invaluable.
Exactly.
Because with time, you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild to think about.
It is.
It's wild. Can we talk about grateful?
Uh-huh.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's attached to time passing and the idea of time and watching something grow in front of your eyes, which is wild to think about. Something that you created yourself.
Yeah.
And then the idea of teaching that human being everything for the first time. What does that mean to you? Like, can you describe that?
I think the idea behind the song Grateful is like what we just touched on before, you know, like all of the things in life that come to us, however they're, you know, packaged and bundled up, you got to accept them, you know, for what they are and be grateful for them things. Like, because even in, you know, the darkest moments, you're still learning from something and you're overcoming something, you know. In terms of what it means, you know, for me being grateful, like that song is literally that. Like I'm just grateful for all of the life experience that I've got that's led me to this place and helped me hopefully develop into a better human, you know.
Is that attached to your daughter?
It is in some sense, but I'm also talking about other things too,
Totally.
you know. I think I say I love it when the waves calm down, love it when the rain falls down. I'm grateful for you, you know. I love it when there's craziness, and I love it when it subsides, you know. I'm grateful for it all. That's what I'm saying.
My note is unwavering love.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what the fuck's going down. That's the one thing that's consistent.
Definitely. Yeah.
Is gratefulness the same as love?
I don't know. I guess it really depends, you know, on the situation. But in terms of, you know, being grateful for something, I think you can just have an appreciation for it also, you know. You don't necessarily have to be in love with the appreciation, you know.
Is there anything that you're grateful for today that maybe you weren't initially when or whatever the situation or thing was centered in your life?
You know, the main thing that I always feel bad about, like when I look back over my life, is not enjoying the band enough. Like I feel like I just took things too seriously, you know, and I'm grateful that I'm able to be happier now, like and actually enjoy things and own my own perspective a bit, you know, like glass half full versus it being half empty. Like that's my choice, you know, I get to decide what that is. So if I frame, you know, everything in a negative manner, I'm not going to gain no satisfaction from it. But if I move with happiness, I can gain so much more and I can have a good time and enjoy my life. And I think that's one thing that I'm really grateful for now that I didn't understand the importance for when I was younger. I didn't understand the importance of just trying to be happy. I had this like teen angst thing going on, chip on my shoulder where I'm like, it's really cool to just be moody as fuck all the time, you know what I mean? And it's not, like you're just a loser. Let's be honest, you know what I mean? Like you should be a nice person. You should be somebody that people want to be around and enjoy being in your presence, and you should bring light to people's day instead of being this fucking negative cloud of energy, you know?
How do you find peace with that today?
How do I find peace with that? Like, I know it sounds super cliche and I keep saying it, but I feel like my daughter brought that back for me, like brought that color back in my life, you know? And she just makes me happier. I have so much love in me that I didn't have before she was born. She just makes me happy. She laughs all day. She wants to do the silliest things and she gains so much excitement from it, you know? She just has a whole fresh perspective on life that it had somewhat become grey for me, you know?
It's really special. What is it like to watch her play instruments? Because I hear she's a
It's
musician.
amazing. Yeah, she can play a little bit. Yeah, she's not like expert level and stuff, but she's got a bit of rhythm, you know, like when she's hitting the drums and stuff, like you can tell that she could definitely develop that into something. Her mum was actually really good at Guitar Hero on the drums. I was like, maybe she got that from her mum, you know what I mean? Because I was diabolical at it and she used to beat me all the time and I used to be like, what the fuck? Like I'm the musician and she beats me at this game, you know what I mean? But Khai's got that too. She got a bit of natural rhythm on the drums and stuff. So it's amazing, you know, it's amazing to see any part of her development, not even just in a musical sense, just in a human sense, you know. Her retention for language and her understanding for words is really impressive. She remembers entire books like that I've read to her, and then she'll read the book back to me. She doesn't know what the words are, but she remembers what I've said on the pages, and she'll read the story back to me. She knows whole songs like every word for word, like all the Trolls tracks and everything. Like she sings up fully, and she doesn't miss a lyric. Yeah, she's crazy, and she can run stuff too. Like do little like trill runs, like 3-4 notes in one thing. Yeah, like it's crazy.
Biology's
yeah, just natural
crazy
ability already. Yeah,
that's wild.
so yeah, it's mad just to see her developing as a person all the time. Yeah,
New meaning to life, new everything, everything's new from that moment on.
Yeah,
Holy shit! Because you genuinely live, everything you do is for someone else.
I think to some degree, you know what I mean? Not everything I do.
No,
is,
but
yeah,
there's a different meaning to it.
It's a
right?
massive responsibility. I'd say it's probably 80%, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
of my life now, yeah.
What's the other 20?
I think it's important to keep 20% for yourself, you know, like something that still is for you, you know, like when I'm in the studio or if I'm painting or, you know, I'm doing my gardening or whatever it is that I do is for me, you know, that I keep some identity that is still me. It's not just Zayn the dad, you know.
What do you garden? What do you have? What do you plant?
All kinds of stuff. Like I've got when it's in season, obviously it's all like dead there right now because it's freezing cold. But when it's in season, chilies, cucumbers, carrots, watermelons, peppers, tomatoes, corn.
How many years will they fruit?
Sorry.
How many years? How many times a year will they like bear fruit?
You get like a good like I want to say like harvest towards like the end of like April, beginning of May, like you can get, and then you can get another harvest towards the end of like summer, like June, July, August, like just before everything starts getting cold again.
So how, like, what are we?
But you can constantly be picking, like, so if you go to like a chili tree, you can take as many chilies as you want off one week and then go back next week and it might be full again, you know what I mean? You can just keep taking things
cool
off
is
of them.
that?
It's amazing. It's really
Sick.
cool. It's like having a shop in your garden.
But I have fruit trees in my around my house. Like I have a pear tree. I have limes, I have lemons, and I have
Amazing.
oranges, and I have peppers.
Yeah, you've got some beautiful things out here because them things are what grow.
Oh my god,
in
dude,
PA.
they're bearing
Yeah,
they're
lemons
fruity.
and oranges and stuff don't grow where I'm
Constantly.
living. Yeah, so
Yeah, you
you're
can't
lucky
get
that you can do that. That's amazing.
Oh, dude, I got citrus coming out my ass.
Do you? Yeah.
I'll send you some. I would love.
I
to
grew
start-
some lemons here when I lived here, but my lemons didn't grow well, and they grew massive, but the skin was like
thick,
so
right?
thick. Yeah, like on the inside there was no lemon. It was
feel
just
like
all
that's
skin. Like,
common.
is it? Yeah, I don't know
And
what happened, but
And people like show off their giant lemons. I'm like, dude, you gotta cut it open.
yeah, let me see what's inside
Yeah,
of it.
show me the meat.
Is it
bitch.
all skin?
Yes.
'Cause it usually is.
No, but like I have pride in like the things that I grow. It's weird. It's this new. It's a different sense of pride that I never thought I'd have. Like this, like, and I think it gives like very like I don't know what the right word is, like old school tribal, whatever the fuck. But like, like I lived off my fucking land, brother.
Oh,
Like-
definitely. Yeah, like accomplishment. Like
Yes!
I own this land. I'm man in dirt, and this is
Fuck yeah,
something I did. Yeah.
dude. That's my boyfriend. Fucking every day I wander my yard analyzing all my plants.
Sick.
And I'm in my cactuses, and then I have my house plants. Like we have plants here, they're fine. I have crazy fucking plants, plants.
Amazing.
I'm obsessed with them.
That's cool. Yeah.
I just love growing. Like I think it's maybe the creation of something out of nothing.
Yeah, definitely, and also just the feeling that you get from nurturing something. You know, that's not you. Like
Yeah,
you give care and effort to something else, and then in return, it's easier for you to give care and effort to yourself.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's a selfless act, innit? The plant's not talking to you, it's not giving you anything back, but you're giving it water, you're giving it food, you're watching it grow, and you enjoyed that.
I
like,
maintain her.
yeah,
I love seeing her grow, and then I start propagating them.
and it makes you feel good.
Yes.
like, as a person.
And then
Like,
I see them around my house, and they bring me joy, and I know I'm breathing a little
I
bit
did
better.
that. Yeah, I'm keeping it alive. Like,
Yes.
it's really cool.
My new thing is propagating them. Like I'll propagate like the house plants. So then I try to like grow more and more of them.
Okay.
And yeah, then I'm like trying to grow roses. Like I don't know, I'm figuring it out.
Okay, cool.
I'm
yeah.
fucking around to
Yeah,
find it out,
that's
dude.
gangster. Yeah, my grandma used to grow a lot of roses in her garden.
Oh, that's
in the UK. Yeah, her whole garden was filled with
I
roses.
feel like they have good climate for that, which is like
It must be, yeah, because she
Yeah.
had some beautiful roses. We had a lot of beautiful roses in the local park near my house too. Like the caretaker of the park used to like look after, but they were amazing roses, like really beautiful.
do you miss it? Do you miss being home?
Yeah, parts of it, you know. There's certain parts I don't miss too. But yeah, for sure, I miss my family, you know, I miss my loved ones and the culture of, you know, where I come from, people's general like attitudes and personalities.
You're telling me it's not the same.
It's
in
not
Pennsylvania?
it's not the same in Pennsylvania, surprisingly.
That's so weird.
It's very different, yeah, but it's cool, you know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the most extroverted human anyway, so like even when I'm living in PA, I'm pretty much on my property. I don't really go out and do crazy things, go here and there. The only places I go is with Khai. Like I'm a dad, like we go to Disney on Ice or Nickelodeon or, you know, Broadway Frozen show. Like she's got me out more times in the last 6 years than I've been out myself, for sure, yeah.
So, but by the way, how
Well,
great
3
is
years since
that?
she's been born, but I mean like 6 years prior to that, I don't think I was
Totally.
going anywhere.
But like, but also like when you were going out, like you weren't going to see Disney on Ice, and then
No,
also, like,
definitely not, yeah.
watching this bean that you create that's currently sprouting into this full blown human. Enjoy something, like enjoy these people skating, like their life depends on it, like their bills need to be paid,
She loves it,
and she's
yeah.
obsessed with it.
She thinks it's amazing.
My nephew's he's 3. Yeah, he's 3. Wow, that's crazy.
Same age as Khai.
That's wild. And this age is like so. They're turning into human beings.
Yeah, man, it's mad, and you can really see it too. Like they're just becoming who they're gonna be, you know.
It makes me sweat thinking about it.
Yeah.
And they're so verbal.
Uh-huh.
They talk a bunch. Will you play the album for her?
I played the record. I got the first print of the vinyl.
Sick.
And I played it on vinyl, and she was dancing to it and like coming in and out. She was like, "This Baba," and she's like going through and like singing along and stuff. And she was singing "What I Am," and which other song did she really like? There's a song on my record called "Stardust." She really loves that song too.
In that moment, what do you feel?
Just pure joy and like feelings of just being real proud, you know, that she likes something that I do. It's really cool. I
For
don't know
now.
if a lot of kids think their parents are that cool. So she thinks it's cool. Like, I don't know how long that's going to last. Like I said, you know what I mean? She might get to a certain age and be like, Dad, no one gives a shit about you anymore. Like, you know what I mean? You need to stop. But
She's the one who tells you to hang it up.
she'll be the person, yo, maybe you've had your day, mate. You can go home. For sure.
I think it's time you move on to something new.
I think you should go do something else, Dad. Yeah,
Maybe
you can
like-
always rely on them for brutal honesty, you know what I mean? So
She tells you to get into franchises or
definitely,
something.
yeah. You need to branch out, Dad.
Is it weird for her to not have an accent? To be raised without an accent?
She has an accent with certain words.
Yeah, because she's around you.
Yeah, so certain things she says, she sounds really British, but still in an American accent. So she calls a tomato, but she says in an American accent, she goes, tomato. You know, she don't call it a tomato. She says tomato. So it's like a hybrid accent she's got going on. It sounds a bit English and a bit American.
It's adorable.
Yeah,
Wild.
she's cool.
There's no way in a million years you ever thought that like you'd call some random state in America home, right?
No, definitely not. It's so random to me, even when I think about it myself, that I live in Pennsylvania. I always catch myself like talking to my best friend or whatever, and I'm like, so weird. Like, I live in Pierre. Like, did you ever think I'd be living here? It's so weird, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Life takes you on a journey. You got to follow it, I think.
Fuck yeah. At what point do you realize that you have to follow the journey and not work against it?
I think when you get like a level of acceptance and love for yourself, you know, I think then it's easier. It's not as much of a struggle.
Do you remember that moment?
I think so, yeah. I think it's been a development over the last like 5-6 years for me.
What was it?
Just got sick of just feeling like I had a grey cloud over my head, to be honest.
I get it.
Yeah.
How do you take ownership of that and manage it?
I don't know if there's a specific way to go about it. I think the main thing that I think a lot of people could, you know, benefit from is awareness, you know, of your own actions and just acceptance for them things and being like, yo, like, this is something I did. I hold my hands up. It wasn't great, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I've learned from it, and this is where I am. It's just important to be conscious, you know, and aware of who you are and your effects on other people around you.
Easier said than done, right?
Yeah, way easier said than done for sure.
Is that connected? As I look through medical records on my fucking clipboard. Hold on. This is fucking insane. Is it weird? Is that connected to shoot at will at all?
Shoot, I will. In what sense?
This idea that like, God, I fucking got distracted in the time that
It's all good. No, I just wanted to make sure I answer your question properly.
No, I want to properly connect it. I mean, one, awareness, right? But like, even this idea that like, you repeat this line, history is pulling you back.
Mm-hmm.
There's awareness there that's attached to one's actions, others' actions around you, being accountable for those actions.
Mm-hmm.
Even this idea, the physical action of putting your hands up and essentially kind of like,
Do what you got to do.
yeah,
Take it.
yeah,
Take what you got to take.
that's it.
I'm at your mercy. You know what I mean? For sure. And that's what that song's about. Yeah, accepting that for sure and having that level of acceptance. Like whatever comes can come, and I'll just move with it.
Fucking terrifying.
Yeah, but also freeing and very like empowering.
How does it make its way into a record, a song?
Sorry?
How does that feeling, that idea make its way into this song? Like, where does it begin for you in life that you need to write a song called Shoot at Will?
Yeah, it's tied into you know, feelings of you know, uncontrollable feelings, like not being able to necessarily manage a situation, but just coming to that level of acceptance with it. You know what I mean? Where you're like, it's cool. Like, shoot at will, do your worst. I'll take what comes.
But is there something about writing a song about it that gives you some sort of control?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what the whole process of writing is. You know what I mean? It's when you put things into writing and you see it in front of yourself, you're forced to accept that it's reality, you know, rather than it just being a thought in your own mind.
Who's the firing squad?
Huh?
Who is the firing squad?
I hold my hands up for the firing squad. Whoever the firing squad may be at whatever particular moment in life, I feel like there's always a firing squad. Maybe, you know, if you want to make it a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more like common, like cool street cred word might be, you know, haters or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. Like I was trying to look for a word there,
hater,
but I couldn't think of it.
Kids say haters.
Yeah, but it's stupid. Yeah, I'm not into that. But you know, whatever situation you're in life, there's always going to be people that are holding you accountable for certain things or questioning certain things that you do. So whoever the firing squad may be, you know what I mean, I hold my hands up to them and let them ask what they want to ask. Even maybe you're the firing squad today, you know what I mean.
Connected to what I am or what am I, flipping it, there is something there of like this unrelenting self-acceptance, right? So like this idea that like no matter what, you're going to accept who you are and you take pride in it,
Mm-hmm.
even if it means, you know, you're going to be judged for it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's a sick place to be in life, eh?
I think so, yeah. I'm still learning, you know. I'm not a finished article. I'm still growing. I could sit here at 50 and I'm sure I'd say different things, you know.
We can have that conversation.
Yeah.
If I'm here.
Oh, all right, cool.
Knock on wood, eh?
I'm
Yeah?
down,
I don't even know if that's fucking real wood. I'll touch some real wood before we get out of here. We'll get in there. I want to talk about My Woman. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course.
It's a great record too.
Thank you.
Are you explore your relationship? Oh wait, hold on. Before we get into that, is there a xylophone on Alienated?
I think so, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
You can hear it. It sounds really good. Okay. Anyway, back to
It might have been Khai's xylophone.
That's what I was wondering, genuinely.
I don't know if it was, but it might have been. I think it was. Like, I think that was in the house, so that's why I used it.
Okay, so you really are recording all these songs in a room under the stairs.
Yeah.
So like life in your house is going on around you.
Yeah.
And you're just finding time during the day to record?
Yeah. I was like obviously a process before even Khai was born, you know what I mean? And then on a evening when she was born, like obviously like she would be sleeping in the house, so I had to figure out another space to do things. So I ended up building like a shed in the back garden for a bit, and then we eventually developed it into the cabin that it is now. So yeah, it was just trying to just make this record from that organic place of, you know, my actual existence and habitual surroundings where I was, and feel like I could bring that energy into the music then.
That's the most beautiful way to create, most organic, most authentic.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to dress up, nothing, you know what I mean? Go in the studio and you with no shoes on, no t-shirt, just chill, like relaxed,
But
live life and make music.
The idea of you like belting and doing all these runs with like just normal life happening around you is pretty sick.
Seth, I appreciate that.
But also like exactly the way this album needs to be made.
Yeah, definitely. In order for it to feel as real as it does, I think, yeah.
100%. It's her xylophone. Sick. How much of this music was made before she was born compared to after?
It was, I'd say about 50-50. You know what I mean? I had like, actually probably less, probably like maybe 30%, 20-30% before she was born. And then a lot of the record came about, like really became a record like after she was born, I think.
Do you go back and touch songs or rewrite songs that had been done or you thought were done before?
Yeah, I think that always happens, you know. If I was to reel off some songs from Mind of Mine right now and like speak about them songs, there's so many songs I would love to go and recut today, you know.
Really?
Like, yeah, like because it's just the development, you know, like of, oh, I could do this better, I could do that better. But also the other thing is with me, like my team will tell you, like they abuse me for it because like I have this like thing where once I record something, I feel like there's a magic to that moment, right? So especially if I'm writing and it comes from a place of like, oh, I got that idea 30 seconds before and I put it on the mic, and then say I came in 2 weeks later and I did that same thing, it's not going to have the same kind of magic to it, the same kind of conviction of this like this light bulb going off and this is a really good idea, let me say this to you right now on the mic, right? So I record songs and then I'm like, I don't want to go touch that in case I ruin it, you know what I mean? And it takes this magic away from it. It sounds rehearsed or it feels premeditated and it doesn't have this real cool vibe to it that comes from just being expressive in the moment, you know what I mean?
So how do you figure that out with bringing in a producer who's going to maybe ask you to recut things and or like...
But the thing is, he didn't.
Really?
He didn't ask me to recut one vocal.
Holy shit. So you really had... This album was really done before he touched it.
He mastered my vocal and made it sound pretty as fuck. You know?
Dude,
He's
it's
amazing
crazy.
at it, but the vocals I never recut again for Dave Cobb. No, once we started working, I didn't touch my vocal again.
Wow. It's really great.
Because I wanted it to feel that way, you know what I mean? I wanted it to feel as raw and as authentic as it could. And the only way I could do that, I felt, was like by me recording that, you know, like being across it and doing it myself. Like
it feels like a lot of these songs were like recorded with you and musicians in their room in one take. Like that's what it gives. Like
Yeah.
it very much gives like very much one take and you did it.
Yeah. A lot of the sentiment behind the records were that, you know, I wanted it to feel like it was one vibe, a live song, and we don't go and make anything perfect. We just keep it the way it is.
You did it great. It worked.
Thank you.
Yeah. Goal accomplished.
Thanks.
Fuck yeah. Back to My Woman. This is it seems to me that you're talking about an actual woman, but there are moments throughout the record and throughout the album where you do explore your relationship with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And that is touched upon in this song.
Mm-hmm.
So are you talking about a woman or are you talking about booze?
I think that's the thing about music, right? Like it can be taken however anybody wants to take it. I was talking about, specifically in that situation, I'm talking about my woman. I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about dealing with situations using alcohol, you know?
Forgetting her.
Yeah, forgetting her, yeah. And you know, using alcohol as the replacement, you know what I'm saying?
How It Feels. Great record.
Uh-huh.
Where are you at when you write it?
Sad. Yeah. Where was I at?
No, you answered the question.
The emotional state.
Yeah,
was asking,
yeah.
I was sad. Yeah. Is that enough of it?
Well, yeah.
Explanation.
Totally okay. Does that?
Yeah, I was just, you know, thinking about things and going through, you know, my breakup and situations there. I think in that song specifically, I'm talking about, you know, not being able to explain to the person that you're in love with why it is that, you know, you necessarily can't be the best version of the partner that you want to be. And that's a really sad thing.
It is sad. Because you know you can be.
Yeah.
Right?
I could be, yeah, but I wasn't at that place at that point in my life, you know?
Does a song like this put a period on that story, or is it an ellipses, like a ... and a continuation?
No, it's a period.
It's a period.
It's a period, yeah, at this point, yeah.
Is that something you needed?
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody needs closure, you know, at some point. Like,
Is this...
close things off and be like, this is done. I'm done with this. This is the emotion. I got it out and I can move on from it.
Is this song that closure?
No, I don't think this song's closure. I just think like there's closure in life, you know, in general. Like you get it. And I've moved on from that situation now, but that's how I was feeling at that moment.
It's really, by the way, like the most adult thing is that, genuinely, is emotional closure attached to a family that will forever have to exist because you have the most beautiful thing in the world.
Yeah.
You created this incredible being that is this force of nature.
Uh-huh.
Like
Hopefully.
She will be. She will be.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, because
she's a force of nature to me.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But she will be to society in this world as she wants to, when she wants to. As she has amazing parents. But like that is maturity. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that's...
Definitely, yeah. And you know, like I've said, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but she has given me a lot of them things, you know? She's given me maturity. She's forced my sensibility to become this mature father for her, you know? This good, responsible role model that takes accountability for their actions and sticks to their word, you know? And proves that my word is bond, you know? Like, whatever I say, I stand by this. This is who I am.
Respect. Is there on the list of things that you care about becoming a person who's ready to be a partner for somebody again one day?
Hopefully, you know? Hopefully that comes on the horizon again. I personally, at this point in my life, I've told everybody, you know, around me that is in my life, you know, friends, family, loved ones, people that I might even just be seeing a little bit, you know, dating, not necessarily in a relationship with.
Totally.
that's not where I'm at in my life, and I'm completely, for the first time in my life, happy and accepting of that. Like, I don't need another person in order to identify myself, you know, or to find myself in them. I'm cool by myself, you know, and I'm okay living on my own clock, on my own time, on my own schedule. And if I do eventually fall in love with someone, it will be something that's beautiful and something that is 50-50. We both want to be there, and we're both as interested in each other as the other one, you know?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll happen for me at some point in life, you know? I don't know when that is, but I'm not actively searching it. If I find it, I'll let you know that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But like, in due time, and I smile out of pure joy and happiness, because I think one of the hardest things for somebody to realize is that they don't need somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Like, to find happiness alone in what you have around you and the family that you have grown, and that extends from Khai to the farm, to your friends, to everything. Like, there's security and love and acceptance just with that and what you have.
Yeah, I'm 31 years deep. You know, I've spent a lot of time with this person, and I'm starting to like them. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with this person. Yeah, this is a good one. You know what I mean? Like, if you could pick who you want to be, you know what I mean? Like, I'd pick this. I'd pick this guy. You know, I'd be this person, and I'm happy with that now.
What a beautiful thing to say. Was there a moment in your life where you never thought you could even say that?
Definitely, yeah. I probably would have cringed at myself even thinking about saying it, to be honest. So yeah, it's free and it's nice.
Beautiful. By the way, that's saying that and being that honest and transparent, but also finding this acceptance and love within, and with external factors weighing into that. That is cool. It isn't cringe.
No, yeah, I think that development, obviously, as you get older, you understand that, you know what I mean? That is cool, like, to be that rather than be this, like, pretentious, closed-off version of yourself where you think, if I say this, people are going to judge me, or, you know, whatever. Just be transparent, and you find that when you have faith in other human beings, the love is reciprocated, and they understand you, you know, and they're there with you. They're going through the same human experience as you. You're not some amazing, special, one-off individual. We're all going through something together, you know?
That understanding, right? That, like, we're all human, we're all going through something, we're all going through something together. Would that understanding have maybe helped bring perspective or clarity to what you were going through when you were in a band?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. You know, no one person's situation is individual. There's always somebody that can relate to it in some which way or form, you know. And you know, I think the thing was, when we were so young and when we were in the band, we didn't have that level of compassion yet, because we didn't understand life yet. We just were young kids that were just thrown into this situation, you know. And now when I look back at it, I can look at it, you know, in a positive light and be like, you know, all these guys came from similar background to me. You know, they had nothing. They worked their asses off. They wanted to sing. They got thrown in a band, and, you know, we resented each other to a certain degree because we were solo artists that were put in a band, and we should have never felt that way. It should have never been a competition. It should have always been a camaraderie, and we should have always been there for each other and had each other's backs, you know. So I think that's just a development over time again, you know what I mean? Like, I've become a more compassionate, caring person for other people, and the thing that I learned is I could have done that earlier, you know?
Of course. But you also can't hate the person you were, as you were just a child evolving and growing, and
just a young person learning.
Literally.
Yeah.
You can't learn until you do. Right? Like, you have to fucking trip and fall before you can, like, understand why and get back up.
Exactly, yeah.
Run again. It's interesting because, like, everything happens for a reason. And this album is a beautiful body of work.
Thank you.
That you got to listen to. There's going to be a link below, so please listen to it. Gates of Hell. What are the gates of hell?
Gates of Hell. I knew I was going to get asked about this. Gates of Hell is the idea that you're at the shittest place, you know, like, that you could be at, like, in a situation. Like, it's just the gates of hell, right? What gets worse than that? Like, you're at this place of just turmoil, you know what I mean? Internally with yourself. Like, I don't like you very much, but I keep putting up with your shit is the hook in that song, you know. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The whole idea behind that song was meant to be like, you just went to a bar, you just broke up with your girlfriend, and you had a few drinks, and you just spoke your mind. Like that was the intention behind it, you know.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I had a few drinks and I wrote that song. Yeah, just completely honest.
So fucked. I can't feel my face. No, a couple people might call me a disgrace, but fuck them. I ain't looking up. Ain't never been one to give me a second look.
Ain't ever been one to give a second look.
That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Great record.
Thank you.
Is there a strategy behind the order of this album?
Yeah, they all like sonically play into each other. Like they play one after the other in a nice manner, but they also have some sentiment behind, you know, like the idea. So that song, obviously, the song that comes after is then the morning after. You know what I mean? Like, so this is like,
Totally.
I'm drunk, and then I wake up. Oh, last night I didn't know where I was, you know, up, down, or sideways. Like, but I'm frowning anywhere because I'm hungover from last night, and that was what I was going through. You know what I mean?
Birds on a cloud.
Mm-hmm.
False starts. What is a false start?
A false start. I think the idea behind that is, you know, the false start at the beginning of the race, you know. The gun went off and you started running, but it wasn't really the start yet. And I felt like that was something that kind of summed up, I guess, my first introduction to being a solo artist to where I was at now, you know. Felt like I'd hit the ground running and then just kind of stopped, you know. So it was a false start, and here I am with a new one.
Why'd you stop for the first time?
I think I just took my foot off the pedal a little bit, especially with the promotion and, you know, like interviews and things like this. Like, I just was not interested in it at all. Like,
It sucks.
It doesn't suck, actually.
I know.
I just wasn't interested in it because I wasn't in the place to sit and talk like this now, you know? But, you know, these things you live and learn from, and you realize that in this situation here, the job that I'm doing, they want to know you, you know? They want to know, is this person a good person? Like, we live in a world now where people really want to know every single thing about you, you know? And that's not necessarily who I am. I'm not an extrovert. I don't give everything to everybody. I keep a lot of stuff to myself. So it was hard for me to transition into that place where I was like, yo, this is okay. I'm cool with this, you know? And also accepting that I want a successful career, you know? I'd never been able to even say that, like, oh yeah, I want my music to do really well. Like, it felt like weird to me to say that. I was like, oh yeah, just like put it out and see what happens. And I had this cool, like cutthroat edge with things, you know what I mean? Like, just clinical, it is what it is, I don't care. But really I did, you know?
There's armor there, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You definitely do care.
Self-defense.
Totally,
you know what I mean?
by like stepping away, like kind of relinquishing control.
If I don't care, then therefore it's not going to hurt me, right?
Totally.
Exactly. But there's something cooler about being hurt and caring.
Because if you're hurt, you
can do something about it. Yeah.
Yes. Channel that into something tangible.
Exactly.
And, you know, by the way, it's so interesting that you say that, like, now people want to know all of you. And I was thinking to myself, like, when I say interviews suck, I thought to myself instantly, when you're in the band and you're doing, dude, I mean, some days you could have done 8 interviews in a day, right? Like, yeah. I mean, more. I mean, yeah. You did crazy radio rooms. You guys would split up and do separate things. And the goal was as many outlets as humanly possible all the time. Yeah. Saturation. But for as many interviews as one would do then, they were all puddle deep, right? The most shallow little things. So it's like demanding and as intensive as it was, and like kind of not thought-provoking, but also thought-provoking, because you have to think when
but also real trivial, you know what I mean?
That's it. Like,
and like soul draining.
100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes like trivial shit like sucks energy out of you more than like
this. Than this, for sure. Yeah, this is engaging. This is beneficial. Feels like you're actually having an actual discussion, having a conversation where you're getting to a point of like understanding somebody, rather than what's your favorite color? Who's your favorite celebrity crush?
Spin the wheel or some bullshit. Yes.
Like, okay, like we've done this a million times. Like, is there anything else you want to know about me? Like, besides what I eat for dinner? You know what I mean?
And the answer was like, no, back then.
Yeah, nah. So yeah, it was a lot of that, and that, you know, helped. And sorry, not helped, but like made it more of a negative experience for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had that taste in my mouth, you know what I mean? When I left and was still solo artist, I still remembered that, you know, and I didn't want to go back into that pool straight away. I was like, I'm cool, like I'll bide my time. But like I said, I learned, you know what I mean, that it's vital for me to come and represent myself as me, because all people do know of me is this guy that was in this band, so they should get to know me, you know what I mean?
And by the way, you can do the right stuff that you want to do, right? Like you've picked the right environments.
And I can do these kind of
Yes.
you know, interviews and have these kind of conversations where, you know, people get that insight and get to know me. Yeah.
Us, Alex Cooper, Sean Evans. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. But really great company to be in, by the way, but also the right places to go and, like, I don't know, just be yourself.
Yeah.
And do you make your way all the way with those wings or whatever?
What'd you say?
Did you eat all the wings?
All the hot ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate them all, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Is it painful?
A little bit, yeah. Burnt my face a little bit, yeah. Like, is what it is. It was kind of fun too. Like, I enjoyed the interview. It was all right.
Does it linger, the pain? Like, does it hang around?
Yeah, I was not. My stomach wasn't great.
That's my gates of hell, brother. That's my version. Okay,
it's a whole different meaning.
It's a whole different fiery sensation. Damn. Concrete Kisses is beautiful. By the way, attached to Birds on a Cloud, this is another really great meaning, right? Like this idea that you've been kissed by the concrete from falling so many times.
Yeah.
Falling over what? Or just everything?
Just think falling in life, you know, the concrete constantly kisses you. Let's take it as a kiss rather than a fall.
Well, you can learn from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's positivity in that.
Yeah, I like the contrast, you know what I mean, of this like idea of something that is seen as, you know, an interaction or expression of love, but it having this real like hard edge to it, you know what I mean? Imagine being kissed by the concrete. I'm sure it doesn't feel too great.
Falling in love and falling quite literally.
With the pain of it.
Yeah, because it is painful. But is that how you know it's love? Or I don't know.
I don't know how you know what love is. That's a real deep question. It's hard, you know. I think love comes in many different forms. In love with somebody it's a whole different kind of complicated, you know. There's so many variables that go into it. Like, you can never really pinpoint, I think, what is love.
It's
I
true.
think there's ways you can show love, you know, you can express it, and that's our human understanding of it. But what is love? It's an intangible thing, right? We can't hold it in our hands. It's not something that exists.
And it's forever changing. Yeah, it's forever changing.
Exactly.
Because that is one thing that I've realized is, like, I think love has taken on new definition, right? Like in moments where I thought maybe I was in love, but then I actually fall in love, and I realized that what I had before wasn't real love or a
That's what I
version
mean, because
of
the
love.
perspective changes it, right?
Yeah,
Over time.
totally.
Like, you look back on it with new eyes and you're like, well, maybe I wasn't in love there, but that's time.
That's it.
So is it love, or is it life experience, you know what I mean, that we are going through? Who knows? We're just in these situations, we look back at them with different eyes. It's a complete different situation.
Do you look back at what you've come from and go, I was in love?
I think, like, when you ask me what is love, I think the reason that's hard for me to answer that question is I don't know if I've ever actually truly been in love. Yeah, at this point.
You could say you were in love with Khai. You love Khai.
Yeah, but that's different. Like,
Totally different.
yeah, I'm in love with her as my child. Like, in love with somebody who is complete separate entity. They're not my family. I have no blood with them. Like, I'm in love with this person, you know? I don't know.
It's interesting. Because, like, there are, I think, some things that could be shared, right? Like this idea that you want Khai to be the best version of herself. You want that for any partner.
Mm-hmm.
This idea that you reprioritize the people you love, right? And you put them before oneself. There are some common threads, but it is a totally different love.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when it comes your way, okay?
I will too.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Speaking of love, something in the water. What's in the water?
Something in the water is,
Can I have some?
I felt like, because the record was so, you know, in this like folk R&B space, that I needed.
Sex it up a little bit?
Yeah, something that was a bit Zayn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something that is like, yo, Zayn can still sing these songs too, you know? I'm still down for the R&B vibes, and I'm still into the sexy vibes. So that's what that was, pretty much.
Yeah, make love to this.
Yeah.
It works.
Give you something to break it up a little bit.
It's
you know what I
good. It's like the right it is like the right moment in the album where it doesn't deviate, but it just gives you that energy that, again, like
It gives you a different mood, you know,
Yes.
for a little right amount of time, and then you come back into what the rest of the record is.
100%. What do you want somebody to learn about you from listening to this album?
I like all different types of music, and I enjoy writing. I'm a grown person that's living a human experience, and I don't think I'm anything better than anybody else.
What'd you learn about yourself from making this album?
Um,
Are there any common threads?
I think I knew a lot of things that are in this album before I made this album, but I managed to express it through, you know, the things that I'm saying in the record. So I don't know if I learned anything specifically. I think I just resonated with the fact that you know, like we were saying, like that I'm not a perfect person, and I'm cool with that. Like, it is what it is. No one's perfect, you know, and that's okay. Like, to be imperfect is probably better.
That is so freeing. How do you define success?
Hmm?
How do you define success?
Define success. It's hard for me because a lot of people will always phrase that question and be like, what was the definitive moment that you realized you were successful, you know? I don't think there is a definitive moment. I think I gain them feelings of success in small, short bursts, you know? Like, I did this song. This felt great. I felt accomplished doing this. And that's why I need to constantly drive and push myself to get better, because I only get it in short bursts of like, oh, feeling accomplished, you know, I did this. And then as soon as I've done that, I'm thinking about the next thing I want to do in order to get that sense of accomplishment again. But in terms of like, made it, I don't think I'll ever say that about myself ever as I'm alive. Like, I don't think anybody's ever truly made it. Life is an experience, and it, like we said, it's time, you know. People like me right now, 5, 10 years, 15, 20 years, I'm cool and realistic enough with myself that I can accept that people might not give a fuck anymore about me or care, you know what I mean? And that's cool. Like, so you just gotta push yourself to get better constantly in order to keep people's attention and, you know, keep people interested. But that's on you, you know, like, you gotta make it interesting.
So 2 questions. The sense of accomplishment that you're feeling from making this album, finishing these songs, did you have that same sense of accomplishment when you were doing the first era of solo stuff?
Definitely not. No, yeah. That's developed too. You know, the sense of accomplishment is greater because I had a greater involvement. I put more work into it, you know. So yeah, it's interesting. You said, you know, what is define success to me, you said, right? Success is a weird thing, you know. I think it's dependent on people's perception, like what they think or rate as success. And for me, a lot of things that people see as successful, I don't rate them things. So having money, being famous, people knowing who you are, like having a nice car, having a nice house, like, I don't rate them things. That's not what I did this for, you know. I'm just an artist that needs to create, like, and it's like an incessant like desire that takes over me, that I need to express these feelings, and I need to sing, and I need to paint. It's not for the end result, you know what I'm saying? I don't do it for like, oh, what are people going to say about this? It's more, I need to do this, you know?
Everything is just like a byproduct.
And then whatever comes after.
Yeah.
That's, on the other people's perception of what they think of it.
The ripple effect doesn't influence
At
your
all.
need or
Yeah,
your
I don't
desire
care
to do
about it, yeah.
So how many songs do you write before you narrow it down to the 15 that we get?
I think for this record, I wrote about 16, 17.
Got it.
Because I really went in, you know, like on my other records, like, I think I ended up writing like 50, 60 for some of them, for like, for Mind of Mine, yeah. Not for Mind of Mine, sorry, for Icarus Falls.
Yeah.
And then I whittled that down to like, I think about, I don't even know how many songs were on that all in all, but there was a lot of songs. And then Nobody's Listening, I think I did about 30 songs for, and I ended up doing like 11 songs on the record, I think. So
Wow.
this was way less the amount that I wrote, but the content was way higher, you know, like it was quality over quantity.
How often are you painting?
Painting. I'd stopped for a little bit, but I just got back into it like a couple of weeks before I came out here. Just felt like I needed to start painting again. I just had this desire to want to get a few things on canvas. So.
What do you paint?
I'm painting J. Cole's KOD album cover for my friend because he asked me to paint it for him. Because I like doing like cartoon stuff, like real bright, vivid colors, you know, like cartoony looking things.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it in kind of my style, but I'm painting that at the minute. It's looking pretty good. Like I'm pretty proud of it. It's sick.
Wait, so I want to see your work.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah,
at some
please,
point.
please, please,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
So like, when you say cartoony, like, what are you doing? Like cultural pieces, like pop culture pieces? Are you doing anything in your?
Just it's more stylistically cartoony looking. You know what I mean? Like big bold black lines and big bright colors, caricature looking stuff. You know, overly exaggerated features. If I'm drawing faces and things like that. Yeah.
Oh fuck. I've probably in the last like 3 years I've grown a real deep fond appreciation for art. I mean, like physical art. And I think I've always appreciated and had deep appreciation for someone who can create something out of nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for that to come from a vulnerable place. So like when you're painting something, do you go into a different zone or a trance? Or are you cautious and conscious of what you're doing?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a trance, you know. I just enjoy painting. It's a place of creation and freedom, you know. And the thing is with art, there's no right or wrong, you know.
True.
It's just expression. So I think that's what I enjoy about it. I like the idea that there's no right and wrong, that you can just do what you want.
So do you think about it when you're doing it?
Kind of, but I've painted and drawn for like my whole life pretty much, as far back as I can remember, and it's just something that gives me this like real nice feeling, you know. I feel good when I'm painting, like I feel like a kid.
Is there something to it that like, because you genuinely, everything's done for you, but this, like, it's art that's not for commercial, you know, anything, consumption. Like it's genuinely something that you can make, that you can keep within your friend group, the people you care about.
And that's the other side of it too, you know what I mean? There's no pressure with it. And that's it also the reason why I was even saying earlier, I write raps and stuff, but the reason I do it is because there's no pressure. Like people are expecting me to be great at rapping, you know what I mean? So it's something that I can just do and have it for myself. Like, and I feel we need that too, you know? Especially if you're in a position like me where the stuff that you're doing is so, you know, put on a platform and people are reading into it and looking into it. It's nice to have something for yourself a little bit too. But so maybe in the future, I'll do an art gallery or something, you know what I mean, when I'm older, but I'd like to like build like a whole repertoire of art for like 40 years, like, and then be like, oh, this is all my stuff, come and check it out and have a look at it. It's not actually for sale, you know what I mean, but you can look at it.
That's cool. Like I've never thought like, you know, to plan the careers of an artist today is different than it's ever been before, right? Like this, like, and I'm gonna go look at the Mona Lisa in 2 days. I'm excited, like down to go to the Louvre. That's sick. But like, when you think of art today, like what art is making waves, right? It's art that you see on a building that people then fight to tear apart. Like it is, like, what does it mean to be a painter or a street artist or somebody who creates art with a bunch of different materials and textures, and like so different. It's so different. Yeah, have a fucking gallery of a bunch of shit. Like how many pieces do you make in a month? Like what is it like? Do you?
It depends. I can go pretty fast sometimes, and sometimes it could take time. It depends what kind of style I'm doing, but sometimes I could do like 2-3 paintings in 2-3 days, like one a day. Like
wow.
Yeah.
But there's also something to like keeping it within a community, right? Like I can,
because I paint with acrylic too, so it dries really fast. That's the good thing about it. You know what I mean? Like you can just.
Where do you paint?
Huh?
Where do you paint?
I have like a porch area outside my house that's like just all glass windows, just like an extension to the front of my house, and you can see all the trees and stuff.
That's
just
cool.
A lot of natural sunlight in there, and I just love painting in there. It's really good.
Do you play music? Do you just
sometimes, but music can be a bit distracting to me if I need to focus and stuff. Like I start singing and getting into the music. You know what I mean?
You really just zone out on the strokes.
Yeah, I like to just paint. Yeah,
that's sick. It's really cool. I wish I had that skill. I have the most respect for people who do that. It's really cool. It's just like a very cool form of art.
Yeah, no, I never thought about it. It's cool. I just enjoy it. I love it.
When did you start? Do you remember like the first thing you ever like painted or drew?
God knows. I used to be obsessed with Casper as a kid.
Sick.
I used to draw him a lot. Like I used to draw Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Of course.
So I think that's like my earliest memory of like copying like a perfect circle head and like trying to make it look like Casper, you know?
So, okay, that there is something to art, right? Like, and that's how you learn is by copying something that.
Of course, yeah, for sure. That's all art is, right? Not one idea is original at this point.
Does the same rule apply to music?
Of course it does.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I think anybody that says it doesn't is completely bullshitting, you know what I mean? We're all inspired by other people. And that's a great thing. Like we were talking about earlier, we're all living this human experience together and we all see things from other people that we can take for ourselves and, you know, mold it and make our version of it. And that's all art is. Like, that's why there's no right and wrong. It's your perspective and it's your story.
You got to listen to Under the Stairs. It's waiting for you on Amazon Music. There's a real room under the stairs?
Yeah, there's a real room under the stairs, yeah.
Cool. Cool. I mean, like when you sell the house one day, you'll be like, yo.
Yeah, this was the room.
The real estate agent's going to jump all over it.
Never. If you want to know, I'm never going to sell that house. That's going to be part of my existence forever.
Like, it's going to be a museum to you one day or something.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm going to put like a clause in there so they can't sell it. Like, and if they do, all the money has to go to charity, so nobody will sell it.
Because nobody likes to do anything good for anybody.
It'll be like, no, we're not selling it because we want the money. We're only selling the house because we want the money.
But think about it. Like, how weird is that? Like, you know, 100 years from now, people are going to.
I'm putting in my will. You're not allowed to sell this house.
Dude, like, but imagine like 100 years from now, people are going to Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania to go and see your art. View it while your music is playing.
Yeah,
you add tourism to the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do that though. I don't know if I'd open my house up like that.
No,
it's
not
really weird to me to think about that. Yeah.
It's just like you, Hershey Park, Dorney Park.
Yeah.
Like, why else would anyone go to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it would be funny. No. Yeah, I don't know if I'd do it though. I've thought about it. You know what I mean? Like Elvis did it, Prince did it,
right?
Bob
It
did
is a
it.
common
You know,
thing.
like the big icons all seem to do it, but I don't know if I'm about that, to be honest.
I mean,
like,
it's 100 years from now.
Yeah,
where are you at?
And look, I'll be dead, so who gives a shit about what
Back
my
in your
opinion
plans,
is?
though, to
You
be
know what
honest,
I mean? Yeah, like nobody's gonna care, but me now alive, like I don't know how I feel about it. You know, it's weird for me.
I mean, your energy will travel, be amongst your plants, be amongst your farm.
They can just feel it
around
the house.
Are you gonna add animals to this thing, or what's the deal?
I've got a few animals now.
Oh, you got?
I've got chickens, turtles,
of course.
Nothing like crazy farm, you know, not like I don't have like horses or pigs or sheep. Yeah,
I hear llamas are very like common. They actually like they keep.
A lot of people have llamas in Pennsylvania.
Well, because they keep the coyotes away.
They make a sound.
That's it.
Yeah, they alert all the other animals if they see like a predator.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, plants are wild to me. Animals are wild. Like, I have this whole new appreciation for things.
Yeah.
Like, I've been fostering puppies, like just trying to save as many puppies as I can.
Sick.
And I've been just like deeply analyzing the way dogs communicate with one another. It's crazy.
It is, yeah. They have a whole thing going on.
Fuck, man, totally. And they probably like these things have been communicating in a way that like humans can't even begin to comprehend.
Yeah,
really.
nah. This is instinctual like feeling of presence that they have, you know, and they just love to be in the moment and live in the moment. And it's about the idea that we were talking about earlier. You said, what is love? An animal is love. There you go.
Unconditional, unwavering
Yeah, that's
love.
love. You know what I mean?
And to your point is like,
and just the way they look at you, like
it's crazy.
you know what I mean? They can't even speak a word, but just the connection, eyes to eyes, is a deep thing.
But their instinct, like the way they can,
and that's
sense
why I think
energy.
kids have it even more so with animals. You know what I mean? Because they're closer to that instinctual, like habitual behavior that we kind of forget as we become adults. You know what I mean? Like, we forget to live in the moment and be happy and love in the moment.
Totally.
You know?
And you get to desensitize to a bunch of stuff.
For sure. And like I see my cats and like my dogs, the way they are with Khai, like they just love her. Like they're just drawn to her energy, you know? Because she must just give off this feeling of like just pure love. Like, and they just love it.
And they'll protect her.
And they can see it too, I think.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a deep thing.
Dude, every sense. See it, smell it, feel it.
Yeah.
And the instinct though, it's crazy. Like my dogs will predict something, like not predict, they know something's about to happen. Could be seconds before they like something comes or whatever.
Yeah, they feel all kinds of different things that we don't feel in it, vibrations, but also their hearing is so much
nuts.
More heightened than ours, so they can hear things 10 minutes before we do.
Animals are beautiful.
They're amazing.
Really. Listen to Under the Stairs. I really appreciate you, man. I really like
You too.
this is a special conversation.
I've enjoyed it. It's been amazing.
Me too. Thank you for doing this. Like
No
I
worries.
really
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed talking to you on the phone. And I was like, we need to do this in person.
we've had some really good phone interviews.
Mm-hmm.
They're deep for what they are, what like you know what I mean? A few
Yeah.
minutes on the phone.
Yeah, yeah. We've always seemed to have a good conversation. You
It
know?
always hits. And you know what? I was when I would interview you when you were in the band, when I worked at Nickelodeon, I always tried to inject like the same level of questions that we have today. It was just like never twofold, right? Like the executives who like I like are my bosses, like they just want me to stick to their fucking corny ass script.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And then the other thing is like the artists, in this case, like you guys, nobody's like prepared for it because they're so used to like the same old puddle depth shit. So I really appreciated every second you've ever given me throughout the many, many, many moons of doing this, which is how many years has it been? 13, 12?
Yeah, 13 years. Yeah, 13 years.
Crazy, right?
Started at 17, yeah. So actually 14 years. I'm 31.
How crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I've been doing my show for 17 years.
that's mad.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Does it make you feel old?
100%.
Yeah.
Do you feel old?
I do, yeah. When I think about I've been doing this for 14 years and I feel real old, yeah.
There's beauty in
And
that.
I'm not old. I just feel old because it's just way too long to have been doing this at 31. You know what I mean? Like,
I do like, you know, there is something to doing the same thing for so long, right? The idea of logging thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours.
mhm.
And like you can reach a point of like subconscious or unconscious competence where you can really like you learn and you figure out and you
They
tackle
say it's
things.
10,000 hours, right, to reach
Yeah.
master level. At
You're way
something.
past that.
Yeah, I don't know how many hours I've put in doing
30.
music now. It must be 30,000 hours.
It has to
40,000.
be.
Don't know. We'll have to do the math.
I'll
We might
put,
be really wrong.
I'll put on my visor and drive a calculator and
We'll
I'll
have to
work
figure
something
it
out.
Yeah.
No, but when you think of that, it is crazy. But also, you have to keep challenging yourself to stay interested and connected, and also to match the stage you're at in your life, right? Like the music you made and the sonics that we're hearing, the sounds and the musicianship, that it's all there because the stories needed it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you needed this R&B folk sound to tell this story.
Exactly. I needed that pocket. I needed that space in order to create what I created, you know. I didn't feel like even the genre of music I was doing before lent itself to allow me to be that deep, you know, and actually tell my story.
Does confidence fuel that decision to take that leap?
I think so, yeah. But also just like the rush of the fear, you know, like this is something that's different. It's not something that people expect. And I'd like to see what they think of it, you know. That also,
The
yeah.
rush of the fear.
Yeah.
Damn.
The fear drives us all, right?
So true. It's so true. Listen Under the Stairs. Please listen. It's all on Amazon Music. Zayn, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
This was really a lot of fun. Enjoyed every second.
Me too. I loved it. It was wicked.
Well, peace and love. Zayn, everybody.
We done, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, wicked.
Cool. Sick.
Yay.